So I wanted to talk about a pretty significant car accident that I was in when I was younger that left my car totaled, looking like this, but that I walked away from without a scratch. So it was November of 2010. I was a freshman in college, and while I lived on campus, my parents only lived about 35 minutes away. So I was visiting one night, and I went to go back to campus probably, I don't know, midnight, 12:30, somewhere in there. And I'm driving down a little bit of a hill, and off to my left is just a big field, and I see this huge deer, this big buck, sprinting through the field, coming straight towards the road, right towards me in the road. And I obviously hit my brakes, but like I didn't have much time to do a whole lot of anything. And so at the last second, I just ducked straight into my steering wheel to protect myself, which in hindsight was really dumb because in theory, my airbags should have deployed and that probably would have just killed me instantly. But miraculously, my airbags did not deploy. Even though this deer hit the front of my car, came up onto my car, came through the front windshield, rolled down the whole side of my car, my airbags never went off. You might be thinking, were they just faulty? No, they were not. And here's how I know. We ended up, that car was totaled, but we bought it back from salvage. And I ended up driving it for several years after that until I was driving through town and somebody ran a red light and hit me, totaled the car again, but the airbags did deploy that time. So I know that the airbags weren't just faulty because years later they deployed in another accident. So miracle number one. Miracle number two in that situation. So some part of the deer came into my car, like obviously busted through the windshield right there in front of my face. But I had these big gashes on the steering wheel. So I don't know if it was antlers or hooves or whatever, but some part of the deer came inside the car and cut up the steering wheel. There were these big gashes in the steering wheel. So just like inches from my face was something sharp. And then he obviously proceeded to like roll down the side of the car and bust out the other window and things like that. But I just think, like, what if I was upright? Like, what if I wasn't tucked into the steering wheel for protection? Would I have been impaled? Would I have been maimed? I don't know. But what I do know is I was out in the middle of nowhere. Like, my parents were already in bed. Nobody knew that I was out there when I was. Nobody was expecting me to be anywhere at any particular time. It was the middle of the night. It was like 12:30 at night. And I was in the middle of nowhere. Like, my parents live out in the country, and the college that I went to was also in the middle of nowhere, just in a different town. And so it was totally rural. Like, there was nobody, hardly anyone out driving that time of night on those roads. And so I just think if I had been hit by something, if I had been impaled, if I had been cut up, like impaired in some way, would anybody have found me in time to actually help me? I don't know. And similarly, if my airbags had deployed, even if that didn't kill me on impact, would anybody have found me in time to actually help me? I don't know. So I just think about all these things and how everything went perfectly so that I walked away without a scratch. Literally drove myself back home, woke up my parents kind of in a panic, spitting out glass everywhere. I had some glass in my mouth, spitting out glass, but otherwise unharmed, scared, terrified, but unharmed. And I just think about how miraculous that is. All the things that had to go exactly right, or things that had to not happen, like my airbags. And so I see God in that. I see God's protection. You know, I see a guardian angel being there, making sure that things did or did not happen so that I was protected and saved. And I feel incredibly grateful and blessed to have been protected and saved that night by what I think was probably a guardian angel sent by God. I just wanted to share that story with you guys, and I'm going to continue to share other experiences that I've had, other things that contribute to my lifelong testimony, because it's all a gift. When we share our testimony, we multiply our gifts and we strengthen our faith. We strengthen other people's faith, and we bring glory to God. I look forward to telling you guys more about my life and my personal testimonies and experiences, and I hope that you guys will be encouraged to do the same. I appreciate you guys for being here. I'll talk to you later.